Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Slice of Shonen. I am your host, the CloudyCrow, and today we will be reacting to our first ever Big 3 breakdown discussion video. Now, as you guys may or may not know, over on the channel we have a brand new series that we're doing called the Big 3 Breakdown, where I will be reacting to One Piece for the first time ever, Bleach for the first time ever, and Naruto for the first time in over 10 years. If you haven't seen my reaction to the first and second episode of those series, the links will be in the description. You can pretty easily find it on the channel. But alongside reacting to the series, I'm also going to be doing this discussion video you see here. Because as you know, the series is called the Big 3 Breakdown. We've watched the first couple episodes of the Big 3, and now it's time for the breakdown. And the way this part of the series is gonna go is I'm thinking maybe every week or every other week I'm gonna do a discussion video with a different theme to it. And the theme for this discussion video is going to be which of the Big 3 have the best pilot episode or the best first episode. And then down the line I may also mix in some story times because I have some interesting stories relating to these series and stuff. But the reason why I wanted to choose the best first episode is because the first episode is important for a lot of us, whether we realize it or not. Whenever we dive into a brand new series, that first episode is crucial because that is the episode that decides whether or not, or that helps us decide whether or not we want to spend our time watching more of this series, or if it feels like it's not really our style and we're just gonna drop it right there. So here I'm gonna give my thoughts for each of the different anime using these 3 categories. First category is going to be character introductions, how well of a job they do at introducing the characters. Plot introduction, how well of a job they introduce the plot or the goals or purpose for the main character. And then lastly is going to be how well each anime plays into their respective genres. So if this anime is a comedy, how good of a comedy is it? If this anime is a psychological anime, how good of a psychological anime is it really? By the end of this video, I will be letting you guys know who I think the winner is, and we're going to be keeping score. Oh, trust me, we're going to 100% be keeping score for the winners of each of these different discussion videos. I'm going to be giving 1 point to the person that I think is the winner, and before these discussion videos go up, I will be posting a community post asking you guys the same question, and the winner that you guys choose will get an additional point. But without any further ado, let's get into this breakdown. So starting off, we have One Piece character introductions. So the first character, important character of the story we really meet is a boy named Koby. And Koby has been going through it, man. He seems pretty young, but even though he's young, he's been spending quite a bit of time trapped on Alvida's ship, forced to work as her crewmate, even though he hates it there, even though he has bigger dreams. He's the punching bag, he gets pushed around by Alvida and all the other crewmates. So immediately, I already find him as a very compelling character, because maybe it's just me, but I want to see that man thrive. I want to see Koby achieve his dreams. I want to see him prove everybody wrong, because they've been picking on him from the jump, and it's about time that he finally puts his foot down, follows his dreams, makes them happen, and just shows everybody that he's not as worthless as they constantly tell him he is, or at least makes him feel like he is. So I really like Koby. I think he's easily my favorite character of the first episode. Next, important character that we meet, the main character of the series, is none other than Luffy himself, or shall I say Monkey D. Luffy. Now, Luffy, I love him as an MC. He is absolutely hilarious. He feels like we've taken a Western cartoon character and slapped him into an anime, and he just makes the entire series so much funnier. When Koby was pouring his heart out and telling Luffy about his backstory, Luffy just says like, wow, you really are an idiot, aren't you? Like, he just does not give a crap, has absolutely zero filter, and I love the fact that he has such a unique and interesting power, because, you know, a lot of characters in fiction, they have speed, they have strength, they have fire, they have water, you know, but Luffy, he has rubber. What kind of power is that? It sounds kind of ridiculous, but the way that he uses it is so cool. And when you really sit down and think about it, his power is crazy. Swords don't work on him, bullets don't work on him, and those are like the main tools of every regular pirate out there. That means all of Alvida's goons, including Alvida, couldn't do anything to Luffy. They couldn't do anything that could phase that man. And he was able to just completely demolish them with a fat smile on his face. So I like Luffy. And then the last significant character, we do meet Nami. And honestly, I personally really like Nami. I think it's cool how she was able to infiltrate the ship and just wipe them clean without anybody noticing and get away with it on her own too. But we weren't really introduced to her, so I'm kind of gonna set her aside, maybe for a future video. So the last significant character of this One Piece series is going to be Alvida. And this is where I think One Piece's score for this first section, character introductions, kind of dips down. Because I don't think Alvida is a very memorable villain. Now, she might come back into the series later, she might get some new cool powers, but if we're all completely honest with ourselves, she's just a big girl with a big club. She's not particularly evil, she's not particularly strong, all she does is smack around her own crewmates, and I guess she tried to rob this cruise ship here and just failed terribly. I feel like if I went to anybody that's fully caught up in One Piece and I was like, yo, do you remember that fight between Luffy and Alvida? I'm sure many of them are gonna be like, who? Who the heck is Alvida? Just because she didn't really do anything. Even when she did fight against Luffy, she landed one attack. The one attack did absolutely nothing, and then she proceeded to get one shot by Luffy. That is not a good look for any villain at all whatsoever. She is the sole reason why this first episode of One Piece felt like a filler episode, and it seems like just a villain that you throw in to buy time while they make more chapters in the manga or adapt more chapters from the manga. So she tanks One Piece pretty badly in this category. And now, in our next category, we have the plot introduction. And for this category, I'm also not going to give One Piece too many points. Now, to be fair, they do introduce the plot, which is the fact that Luffy wants to become the Pirate King. He wants to go to the Grand Line. He wants to get the One Piece. We know how dangerous the Grand Line is, so this is a very big task that he's taking on. And when Kobe says, like, you can't become the Pirate King, that's crazy, Luffy says, who's gonna stop me? Basically, we know he's dead set on this, but the reason why I kind of have to take away points in this category is because we don't know why he's doing this, and I feel like that's very important. With Naruto and with Bleach, we know why they're going on the path that they're on, or why they set down this journey, but we have no idea why Luffy wants to become the Pirate King. And the why is just as important as the what, in my opinion. Because if I'm a protagonist of my own anime, and I say my goal, my number one dream, is to go and capture the fairy princess, the first thing you guys are gonna wonder is why? What did the fairy princess do to you? What do you get from capturing her? It's important because it adds significance behind his goal and behind his determination to reach that goal. We'll be able to understand why he's putting his body on the line, why he's dedicating so much time to achieving this goal. So that's why I can't give full points to One Piece in that category. But now we move on to our final category, which is how well each anime plays into their respective genres. And this is the category where I think One Piece blows the other two anime out of the water. Because I would describe One Piece as like an adventure comedy sort of anime. And the comedy aspect is fantastic. I already mentioned earlier when Kobe was pouring out his life story and Luffy just completely shut him down. He has absolutely no filter. He does not care about hurting your feelings with anything that he says. And getting back to the like cartoony aspect of Luffy's character, I love how Luffy is incredibly powerful. He knows he's incredibly powerful, but he kind of toys with his enemies. When he's on the surface of the ship facing Alvida and Alvida's goons start chasing after him, we see him running for his life. Like he thinks these guys are about to demolish him, but then as he's running, he like grabs onto the pillar and slingshots himself back into the crowd, one-shots them with a fat smile on his face. So that just lets you know that he was just messing with them. He was pulling their leg, making them feel like they were actually a threat to him, when in actuality, they're just fodder, and he had to let them know right then and there. So, in the comedy aspect, I think One Piece is phenomenal, but where they really, really shine is in the adventure aspect, because we know Luffy has this big dream of going to the Grand Line, an incredibly dangerous place all kinds of monsters and powerful pirates way stronger than Alvida. We know he wants to get the One Piece, which is this legendary treasure that no one's been able to find, and we know he wants to become the Pirate King. All of these are very, very big dreams. But Luffy doesn't even have a pirate crew, and that is what has made me most invested in One Piece. It's being able to see Luffy sail throughout the 7 seas, travel around the world, and find new crewmates to add to his squad, because we need someone that can hoist the sails, we need someone that can steer the ship, someone that can navigate the ship, someone who can man the cannons, someone with the spyglass at the top. We need a lot of people, and I'm sure we're not going to find all of these people in one place, so we're going to be traveling throughout the world, finding different people with different skill sets, different backgrounds, different life stories, different powers, and I'm super excited to see where One Piece goes in that direction. So One Piece gets freaking 5 gold stars in this category right here. I think they absolutely killed it. Now, next is Bleach. So when it comes to the character introductions, let's start off with Ichigo. I'm not gonna lie, out of all of the main characters in the big 3, I think Ichigo is my favorite personality-wise. I just love how kind of cool, aloof, badass, and like nonchalant he is. The episode literally starts off with this 15-year-old kid just single-handedly whooping an entire crew of goons, and he's just stomping them out, and we know the reason why is because they like tipped over this like flower vase, I think, that was dedicated to a little girl that passed away. So that already kind of paints Ichigo as this like tough guy on the outside that has a heart of gold, you know? So I already really like Ichigo, and plus he's hilarious, but we'll get into that more with the other characters. So next, after him, we have Rukia. And I really like Rukia. I feel like for a lot of people, they might see Rukia as like the Sakura of the anime, because Sakura gets a lot of hate because she's kind of naggy, she's kind of annoying, and there's a lot of other reasons why people don't like her. And I feel like people might feel this way towards Rukia, but I love her. I think Rukia is awesome. She's all about business, and she's the like perfect counterweight for Ichigo's character, because we know Ichigo, like I said, he's kind of nonchalant, does his own thing his own way, and we have Rukia to kind of make him stick by the book and help him stay on track whenever he doesn't want to do something. Rukia is kind of there to explain to him and kind of knock some sense into him and let him know, you have to do this. You can't like half-ass this, if that makes any sense. But on top of that, she's also pretty funny. This doesn't really come in until episode 2, so this is kind of cheating for Bleach. But in episode 2, when we see Rukia in the school outfit and she's trying to pretend like she's a normal student, and she's like kind of teasing Ichigo because he knows the real situation and she knows the real situation, but she's pretending like she doesn't in front of everyone else. Very, very funny. I love Rukia. And she's badass. She can whoop some monster butt. So she's really cool. Next, we have Ichigo's sisters, and the thing that I love most about his sisters is that on one hand, you have kind of like the, I guess, emo kinda sort of character, and she doesn't come off as a very emotionally expressive person. But then you have her sister, who's the complete opposite of her, super bubbly, super happy, very motherly, and I just love that duality between them, because they're kind of like the angel and the devil on Ichigo's shoulder, which is amazing. And then, last but not least, you have Ichigo's dad, who is freaking hilarious, man. I actually don't know. They haven't revealed it yet, but I'm guessing he's a single father. I know they showed like a poster of their mother, which made me believe that she was like some sort of celebrity or idol or something, and maybe she's just traveling, or maybe she's passed away and that's a poster to keep as a memory of her. But every single time he sees Ichigo, whether it's he's just getting back from school, just waking up for the day, coming down for lunch, he always just flies in and kicks the crap out of him. And I love that dynamic of both of them just brawling it out on sight for absolutely no reason at all. It's just hilarious. It's random. I love it. And I love how kind of immature the dad is, because it makes it seem as though Ichigo, who's only 15 years old, is even more mature than his dad, who's probably in his 30s, 40s right now. So that's a very, very funny aspect of the anime. Next, we have the plot introduction. Now, the plot for Bleach is very interesting because I don't think there are really, or at least up until this point, Ichigo hasn't really like manifested a goal to pursue yet. It's more so he's sucked into this situation and he has to deal with it. He didn't ask to become a Soul Reaper, he just had to become one in order to save his sister from the monster. I don't even remember if this was episode 1 or 2. But yeah, so this might be cheating. And then afterwards, he ends up getting wrapped up in this situation where because he took Rukia's power, now he needs to hold on to that power and he needs to do all of these different Soul Reaper duties for her because she can't do it. So the plot is still a little up in the air because we don't have a what when it comes to Ichigo's goal, but we do have a why as for why he's in this situation and why he is a Soul Reaper, why he is going around and fighting off these hollows. So it's kind of like the opposite of the One Piece situation. And then lastly, we have how well each anime plays into the respective genres. If I were to give a genre to Bleach, I would probably go with like action, I don't know, horror? It's not really horror. I just can't think of the word. It's somewhere between like horror and psychological, because the best way I can describe it is like very eerie or very ominous, a very dark anime. And it nails it in that category. Everything from the OST to the like little girl ghost being hunted by this giant beast, to Ichigo's sister being captured and almost killed by this beast, and him finding out that the only reason why she was captured was because it was actually looking for him, and just the overall idea that this series focuses heavily on death and what happens to you after death. Are you gonna become, you know, a wandering spirit? Are you gonna become a hollow? Are you gonna get sent to the Soul Society? Are you gonna get sent to hell? Who knows? And then when it comes to the action department, I think they do a great job. There's nothing more satisfying because the hollows, they have this sort of mask on their face, and whenever the mask gets like split in half with a blade, that's super satisfying. On top of that, they're like big, ugly, grotesque monsters, so of course you want to see them get cut down to size, especially because we know they have no sympathy for humans, so why should we have sympathy for them? Let's go out there, let's kick their butts and not feel bad about it at all whatsoever. And then lastly, we have Naruto. So when it comes to character introductions, the main characters we focus on in the first episode are just Naruto, Iruka Sensei, and Mizuki, I think that's his name. So for Naruto, I think he's probably the most compelling of the main characters in the big three, at least at this point right now, because we know Naruto's backstory. It was very well fleshed out. We know that there was this demon fox spirit that ravaged through the Leaf Village, killed many people, caused a lot of damage and havoc, and now that beast is inside of Naruto. So with the adults knowing this, they try to stay as far away from him as possible. They treat him like crap. They basically pretend like he's not even there. And even the kids who have no idea what's going on, even they kind of give Naruto the cold shoulder because they know that their parents feel some type of way about him. So you have this kid that doesn't have anyone. He doesn't have any parents. He doesn't have any friends. The only real person he has by his side is his teacher. And he has a big goal and he has a big dream, but we'll save that for the next section of this video. Moving on, we have Iruka Sensei, who is awesome, man. I love Iruka. And like I said, I've seen Naruto, but it's been like 10 something years, and I forgot just how real Iruka really is as a character, because he did so much for Naruto in this first episode alone. He had to make the tough decision not to pass him when he bombed the test, but it makes sense because like I said while watching the video, I'd rather fail because I didn't meet the mark than to pass because somebody gave me favoritism. So Iruka had to make that tough decision, and even though he knew it'd break Naruto's heart, he had to do what was best for Naruto. After that, when Naruto's in the forest, Mizuki throws the like demon wind shuriken at him or whatever the heck that is, and Iruka dives in front of it, tanks that giant shuriken. It's just plunged into his back. He tanks it, and the entire time he doesn't even look back at Mizuki. He pretends like he's not even there. He just wants to have a heart-to-heart with Naruto, to talk to him, to tell him the truth, let him know, I feel where you're coming from. I've been there. My parents passed away when I was a kid too. I was the class clown too. I had to act out to get people to notice me too, and that's why I care so much about you. And that was just super heartwarming. We also see Iruka play some crazy mind games when Mizuki's pretending to be Iruka, chasing down who he thinks is Naruto. Turns out it was Iruka the whole time, bamboozling him because he knew he'd be chasing Naruto. It's like so good. And then the ending of the episode was the icing on the cake, with Iruka not only giving Naruto a ninja headband, but he gives him his ninja headband. I don't think you know how awesome that is. That was easily my favorite part of the entire episode. It was so cool. We also have the badass Naruto moments, but I think that was the shining moment for me. And then last we have Mizuki, who admittedly is a pretty forgettable villain like Alvida, but he's a more significant villain because he does something that drastically changes the direction of the story. Because if you think about it, if it weren't for Mizuki, Naruto probably never would have found out he had the demon fox inside of him, or at least wouldn't have found out until much later. If it wasn't for Mizuki, Naruto never would have gotten the multi-shadow clone jutsu, which Naruto ends up using even to this day as an adult. And if it weren't for Mizuki, Naruto wouldn't have gotten his ninja headband that day. And he wouldn't have had that awesome like heart-to-heart with Iruka at the end of the episode. So even though Mizuki's not the craziest, strongest guy out there, he does a lot for progressing the story. And if it weren't for his actions, then Naruto could have gone down a completely different route. We have absolutely no idea. So gotta give him props where props is due. He's a scumbag, but he's an important scumbag to the story. Next, we have the plot introduction, and we know the plot, basically Naruto's goal in the story is to become the Hokage, which is the #1 ninja in all of the Leaf Village. So we have our what, which is his goal to become the Hokage, and the why for his goal is because he doesn't have any friends, anyone that cares about him except for Iruka. Everybody looks down on him, everyone sees him as this monster, everyone kind of tries to ignore him, so he wants to put himself in a position where they have to respect him, where they have to acknowledge him. If he becomes Hokage, they can't keep turning a blind eye and, straying away from him, pretending like he doesn't exist, because he's calling the shots. He's the big dog in the Leaf Village. They have to respect him, they have to notice him, and that is the why behind why he wants to become Hokage. So you kind of have the full package there, the what and the why for Naruto when it comes to why he's going on his journey and what he's doing in his journey, or what he's striving for. And then lastly, we have how well the anime plays into its genre, and Naruto has quite a few things going for it. It has action, it has comedy, it has a lot of like dark and sentimental moments. When it comes to the action, this is probably the most lacking category in this first episode, just because there aren't really any instances of people brawling it out or fighting against each other, hand to hand or jutsu to jutsu, none of that stuff. But there is that same level of intensity that you get from actions when you have Naruto kind of running through the forest and Mizuki chasing after him. Your heart's beating for Naruto, like, is he gonna get away? Is Mizuki gonna get a hold of him and kill him? Like, you have that. When it comes to the comedy, it's amazing. Like Naruto when he was taking his test and he made his clone that was just completely brain dead in the beginning of the episode, when he ends up painting graffiti on the Kage statues, and all of the adults are like chasing after him, but they just can't get their hands on him. there's a couple funny moments in the first episode, and then where it really kills it is in the emotional moments of the episode. You have the infamous swing set scene where Naruto's alone on the swings, the only person that didn't pass the test. All the other kids are talking about him, kind of making fun of him, and he's just left there. You have that beautiful sadness and sorrow OST playing in the background. You have the emotional moment at the end with Iruka giving his headband to Naruto and them hugging it out. And then you have the moment with Naruto where he's like dead serious. He's made his decision. He's gonna take down Mizuki. You get one of the most iconic shots in Naruto with like the shadow kind of cast over half of his face. He's looking down, he has the goggles, the giant scroll in one hand. He immediately brings out the shadow clones. There's hundreds of those dudes. They all go in and jump Mizuki. We're all just over there on the sidelines cheering for Naruto. It's a journey. It's a journey and a half. So now that I've gone through each of the anime and each of the categories for each anime, I will give you guys my final decision, and then I will let you guys know what you guys decided. So if it wasn't already obvious, my answer for which of the big three has the best pilot episode, I'm gonna have to go with Naruto. I grew up with Naruto, so a part of me felt biased, but according to the results that you guys gave in the poll, I feel assured in my answer now. I know that it's not bias, it's just fact that Naruto had the most well-rounded first episode. And if you guys disagree, hey, the comment section's open. Feel free to post your arguments in the comment section for why you think One Piece should have won or Bleach should have won. But for me, my vote, my point is going towards Naruto for the best pilot episode of this series. And now if we move on over to the public poll where I asked you guys, we have Naruto also winning the #1 spot with 60% of the vote. So that's a pretty convincing win. And what's funny is that Bleach and One Piece are both, well, they're kind of tied for second place. We have One Piece with 20% and Bleach with 21%. So my personal ranking would be Naruto, Bleach, then One Piece. One Piece is pretty close to Bleach though, but I think Bleach edges it out in my mind, and it seems like it's the same for you guys. So when it comes to the results of this first discussion video, we have Naruto with 2 points, 1 point from me and 1 point from you guys in the audience. So let me know whether you agree, whether you disagree, what you would have voted for, and then post your explanations why you think this anime should have gotten more credit in this area or less credit in this area. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But with that, I'm going to head out. Thank you all so much for watching this far into the video, and I will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one.
Now